news right now? Do you know?
No clue.
Yeah, neither do I.
I could look real fast.
I think that let's pick one thing that's happening in world news, and I will give you a 1 minute thought about it, and you give me a 1 minute thought about it, and then we'll get our actual show started.
Okay, how do we find out what's going on in the news?
I don't know, like CNN or something.
Go to CNN. I was about to share out the broadcast. Okay, I'm going to go to the news instead. Well, the first thing on Google that shows up on my feed.
Sure.
You're not going to like this. That one's Leah Michelle shows off a tattoo.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Memorializing Corey.
That's it. We got to just talk about it.
Okay, that's right.
Whatever it is, it's just like that's right. I don't even know. Okay, so just say what it is. What is the? Oh, so people are starting to tune in. So I'll just kind of update anybody's tune in. Guys, Emily is looking up something on Google. It's the first thing that's happening in like world events, and I'm going to give a 1 minute statement about it. And then Emily's going to give a 1 minute statement about it. And then we're going to get on with the Akashic show.
Okay,
what's up? Say hello, everyone.
Say hello, everyone. You can say what you think about this,
too. Hit the like. Yeah, hit the like.
It's celebrity news. Do you want to know the celebrity news or do you want world news? I feel like...
I don't care. I just want...
don't care.
What is the news of the day?
World news.
Just give me the news of the day.
All right. The first thing that says that I see here.
Blessings, blessings.
I don't know how to freaking read the news. Sorry, you threw me off today with this thing. Okay, here we go. You wouldn't think it would be that hard to find a piece of news. World news, BBC.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Holy shit! What's going on in our world, Nick? This is terrible.
Just tell me what it is, man.
China separating Muslim children from families. Thousands of ethnic minority Muslim children undergo cultural re-engineering in giant boarding schools.
Okay. Do I get my minute to say my piece on it?
Okay, go. Your 1 minute, go.
All right. I actually don't know if what we just read is factual, and neither do you. But we do know it was designed to capture your attention and get a reaction from you, which it is clearly accomplished.
Totally did.
But what we must keep in mind is that we are only ever being told one side of the story, one perspective of the story, and one way that is designed to get you to respond in a certain way. I don't know if that's true or not because I am not there. So I should not speak about things I do not know, which is true. The end. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I've been putting together a lot of pieces in my own awareness that have been making just a whole lot of sense to me lately. Boggy shared a Laura Eisenhower video earlier this week talking about the eclipse energies. And how many of you guys are familiar with the conspiracy? I don't even know if it's a conspiracy theory or if that's the right name for it, but the idea of Saturn and the moon matrix and time control and how we are being manipulated through a lot of these things. Like Coach Nick just said, doesn't even freaking matter if this is true or not. When you have a vibrational response like I just had of disgust and fear, then guess what? You're programmable in that moment, people.
Yeah, though they totally got what they wanted, right?
They totally got what they wanted.
And they want you to think a certain thing about the world.
And they just got it.
But you don't know. Yeah, but you don't know if it's true or not.
I don't even know if that's...
Because you're not there. We think we're just trusting that... Oh, well, I read it on BBC. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying BBC's not credible. I'm just saying I personally don't know because I've never experienced it. So I'm not saying that they are lying, and I'm not saying that it's not credible. I'm just saying I don't know how credible it is. I've never personally experienced it. And what do we really know in life is only what we've actually experienced. But everything else is just like hearsay. And you got to know that there's always an angle to a story. Mm-hmm. They want something from you. Your reaction, then your money. Because then they're gonna be like, now that you're scared, and now that you're like, oh, like, wow, what's wrong with people in this world? then you're not like really willing to go out and be in community because you're scared of the world. And if you're not in community, you end up consuming more. See, if you're not in community, because you're not going to get fulfilled, you need the more that you feel connected, the less you consume.
Yeah,
because you're fulfilled, right? Like when someone is
breakthrough, it's the key.
That's right. When someone is fulfilled, then there's not really much like someone can say or do that throws them off because they understand what it's like to be fulfilled. But when we're not fulfilled, it's very easy to be thrown off. Right? So you're very easy to be like, because we're grasping for something, right? We're like, so, just be happy, people.
Be happy, people.
I feel like the Beatles song should come on or something like that. Look at this. Amber says, I'm in total bitch mode today.
I'm noticing a lot of energetic swells this week. Different specific energies kind of associated with each day. I'm not in bitch mode today, but I can honor that.
She says, oh, Lord. I want to throat slit punch someone. I think she wants to punch someone in their throat. Should we be... I think we need to breathe.
Breathe a little bit? Let's breathe a little bit for Amber. I always love breathing.
Okay, do it.
Take a nice deep breath in, everybody. Actually, I want to hit on that connection that you talked about too, that community, that connection. It's ridiculously important that you have a true vulnerable connection, a space where you can go. So do me a favor, look right down the barrel of the camera, connect with us, connect with me, connect with Nick while we're breathing. Recognize that we're all connecting together in this deeper space. Take a deep breath in. Stand to the top of that breath, stand in your energy, connect, open yourself, show your light frequency, be willing to just be here. Okay, do it again. Pausing at the top of the breath, just settle into that moment and connect. Even if you're staring at a little green light like I'm staring at, I can see you, I can feel you on the other side. Go one more time. Stand in your power. Let me uplift you. Feel yourself coming back to neutral. Turn your awareness inward. See what shifted. And just notice. Maybe you feel a physical shift. Maybe you notice a perception shift. Whatever you notice, that is your gift. And with that, Coach Nick, please introduce me and call me that name I like.
All right, guys, welcome to the Akashic Show. And let me introduce you to your lady of leisure, Ms. Emily Harrison. You see, she's doing leisurely things, She's sipping. What is that? Coffee, tea, coffee. She's sipping her coffee.
It's not my first beverage of the day, though, which makes me incredibly proud of myself, I have to say, because I have been a pretty heavy caffeine addict for a while, and I'm not anymore. I'm still chipping it. I'm enjoying it.
That's good. That's good. Chip it away. Chip it away. We all have to, the thing about talking about breaking down walls and we have to break down we just have to realize that 99.9999% of us on the planet we have some vices, we have some things to work on, and we don't need to get all like, oh guys, I have vice, I need to go get a healer now, and then because that's what everybody's doing, right? I'm just just acknowledge it and go, oh, you know what, and be cool with it. And just bring this kind of coolness to it. Just bring it, just be like, oh man, I got this thing too. And you know what? You got a thing because you're human, and that person over there's got a thing because they're human. And so there's some rare souls. We call them lords generally, right? Lord Jesus Christ, Lord Krishna, Lord. Yes. Yeah, we literally call them Lord, right? Nobody here is being called Lord, right? So
just Lady of Leisure.
Just Lady of Leisure. That's it, right? That's where you're at,
That's all I ask.
And I think that once we just get real about, that, then we can just honestly help each other and support each other. And that's actually breaking down walls, because we're not bringing like this like shame, or because we're not putting up a front,
Mm-hmm.
right? You dig?
I dig. I'm down, friend.
Cool.
Thank you.
So anyways, you're the lady of leisure. You're
That's
also
me.
certifying light workers all over the world to read the Akashic Records.
For those of you who do want to come see an energy healer because your life is shit. I'm the person who
I
does
just totally it. I was like, don't hire a healer. Hey guys, would you like our healing services? No, it's cool actually, and it's true. I've seen healers, so I would be like lying if I didn't say that it was valuable. Of course, there is. Actually, it was after I went and saw a shaman that I really had like a tremendous spiritual experience, and I wouldn't be sitting here as a Hare Krishna if I didn't go see a contemporary Canadian shaman, and if I didn't meet a Christian business coach that all influenced me to look more into the spiritual path, right? So you see how we're all like supporting each other.
Yep.
And healers help me do that. Reiki healers, shamans, readings. I've come to you for readings when I, was feeling out of sorts and like, I don't know what to do. So there's my personal testimonial.
There you go. Thank you very much. I'm also about, I recognize what the essence of what you're saying there. Like, go be your own guru, guys. Go in. Regardless of what access you have to outside healers, you can always go inside.
Yeah.
And you can always do this work.
Well, and be guided to even like, like be okay with some like for instance, just be okay just being yourself, right? And going where you're trusted to go, and at the same time use your discernment and wisdom to say, am I going to somebody who is doing it right? And that's the key, right? That's the key, because they can only give you what they're doing.
And what you're doing right now, my friend Nakula, I'm going to introduce you now, there's such a beautiful shift going on from and just evolution of who you are in your wisdom and sharing and traveling and speaking and just getting really profound and simple with a message of happiness, with the simple principles, the yogic principles of how you can create that in your life. You are just so comfortable in your skin right now. It's so fun to hang out with you.
It feels so natural. Yeah. It feels so, that's alignment, right? Yeah. But the key is that breaking down those walls is I had to get real too and be like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What is I don't, they say the truth will set you free, right? So it's like, just be where you're at, do what you're doing, share your mission or whatever it is that you're about, share your talent. God gave everybody some talent, some gift. Everybody, like, there's not one person that doesn't have something that they can really do that's just comes so natural to you. That's what you should do in the world. And when you do that, you'll find success. But you'll find some uncertainty in it. That's why you're afraid to do it, right? So you have to actually learn to be certain in uncertainty. And that means you have to be certain in something that is eternal, that is never changing, doesn't move, doesn't change. It just is. And everything else will move and change and shift. If you try to grab certainty in things that are moving, changing, and shifting, the external world, you can never be happy, because that external world is always, it's like the top of the ocean that's just full of waves. You have to go down to the bottom of the ocean where it's unchangeable.
Still.
That's right. Where it's just, once you're being able to swim at least down there, and get kind of like oh, this is what it feels like down here. Then you get to see the top of the ocean, but not get disturbed by it. It'll pass, it'll change, it'll shift. Do you?
Okay, speaking of unique talents, and everybody has God-given talents,
Let's see yours.
You can see me. You see me.
You want a drum roll? I do.
Yes,
I do. Yeah, it's actually uncomfortable, making me uncomfortable. But let's move
Why?
on. I'm just joking.
Oh no, let's talk about that. Why?
Why? What?
Is it making you uncomfortable?
Well, because I have a dirty mind, so I don't want to say it, right?
Okay.
Like you're just like flapping something up in front of me like that, and my mind and consciousness is too polluted too. Yeah. So we need to. Right. Okay. All right. Drum roll.
Boom. I'm gonna come on in. This is Danielle Harper. I should say, do you guys know who this is? Danielle, do you recognize yourself? I was having a bit of an issue last week because Coach Nick has upgraded his puppets. Nakula's upgraded his puppets so much that I needed to upgrade mine a little bit. And I think I found a good marriage between my old style and my new style. Danielle said simply, "Good morning, lovers," last week. She called us all lovers. And there's an essence. Oh, well, that's perfect because we came into this talking about your dirty mind, Coach Nick. But
polluted, man.
It's polluted.
I'm trying to purify it.
Yeah, I love the idea of purifying this term lovers and how we show up like that with each other. How do lovers show up in a compassionate embrace, willing to be in the moment, whether it is deep listening is required, whether deep play is required. And the fact that this community is creating and assembling itself like that is really an honor to me. It means the world to me. This is a powerful place. And I really found deep meaning, some symbolic meaning when she said, "Good morning, lovers," to all of us. And I just want to invite all of you guys to just begin to see the word love has been so degraded because, like Coach Nick says, we love our coffee. Thank you. You like my artwork. When we bring awareness to being able to honor each other in this space, in that deep way of what love truly is and how lovers show up to each other, I feel like we're restoring the power behind that word. And so that's why I drew Danielle today. All right, you want a drum roll?
I don't have a puppet, remember? I spent my time writing my new biography.
You were preaching to me, but you said you're going to recycle an old one.
Oh, I did, but I didn't. Like, I was so like into what I was doing that
you were like in the space. You tried to get out of it to do a puppet, and I said no.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you know what? Like, that's another sign of being on. Like that, you're on. Like, you're like, that's where I'm supposed to be, because your time disappears. And you can do it just 24/7 because you're just engaged in it. You just like it, right? No one has to ask you, okay, you don't have to like discipline yourself. You will, like, don't get me wrong, right? Like, there will still be a focus and discipline that will be required at certain times. But you'll really give the best effort and you'll really put your best foot forward, not because of anything other than it lights you up. And it's spiritual in nature. In some way, you feel like you're being guided. Like in this way, I feel more being guided than I am of actually doing anything. Everything else, I felt like I was doing it. This, I don't feel like I'm doing it. This, I'm just more like watching it happen.
Yes. You know what I call that? That happened to me. I began to notice that effect, that phenomena happening right after I became a certified Akashic record practitioner. And I was like, all right, how do I align more, create a business, a life doing this? Right. And there's something beautiful called the Akashic wind, I call it. It just kind of picked me up and
that's my wind.
Scattered like a dandelion, going every which way. It's really beautiful. It's like it becomes more effortless. It doesn't become effortless though until we get the walls down and out of the way. We got to get talking about this. So I'm going to do fast news. Okay, can I do fast?
All right, do fast news.
Really fast.
Do it. You got 1 minute.
1 minute. All right. This is what was going on this week inside the Akashic Academy membership program. We had a big cosmic event, a solar eclipse and new moon. I'm the new moon girl inside of the Academy, so I get to run that sacred ritual, bringing together our community. It was beyond powerful. I really enjoyed that time with the rest of the community. If you were there, give us a shout out. Say, yes, I was there. Also, inside intuitive development, I personally am bringing the Hermetic principles as well as the esoteric meaning of color. We learned so much this week about how to alchemize our energy. Sifu Boggy is now showing up too inside of the membership group, giving you a physical practice every single week to embody the energy. Coach Nick, what did you talk about this week in Mindful Living?
Oh man, I can't remember. That was like at the beginning of the week on Monday. You had to go and join the academy and watch it.
I remember one that caught my attention earlier this month, perhaps, or we just switched months, was how to transmute negative emotions. You keep things very, very practical for us inside of Mindful Living. And if you guys are not yet members of the Akashic Academy, you need this kind of community, this kind of body, mind, spirit support. We've got to constantly be learning. As human beings, that is how you keep yourself sharp and inspired. You're designed to be constantly learning new things. This is where you can dive in and learn. I'm going to put a link up for you. If you're not a member of the Academy yet, please check it out for $4.44. It's $44.44 a month, but you can try it out for only $4.44, and there's no obligation to continue. I'm going to share with you the link. Type in the code SACRED4 when you get to checkout. That will get you that $40 discount. And I expect to see all of you this week inside of the Akashic Academy membership program. All right, talk to us about walls while I grab those links, friend.
All right. Look, the first thing that we have to do to really have a transformative experience of our life, to get aligned with our soul's purpose, our mission, to get aligned with, the impact that we can make on the planet, then we have to look at ourselves and say, where is the resistance to just surrendering? Why am I not being myself? Why am I not just playing the game that I want to play? Why do I feel like there's always 3 steps in between me and where I want to go? And generally that's because there are many steps to go on the exterior, but on the interior, it's about surrendering and just saying, oh, this is it. But if you don't know what it is, because you may be in a space where you've been disconnected with your own soul for so long that you don't even know, the first thing you have to admit is you don't know. You have to actually say like, oh, you know what? I don't really know. And you ultimately have to say, oh, I'm not really happy. Why am I not really happy? Like actually happy. We all know what happy is, like joy, like kid-like, kind of like, oh my gosh, like, wow, this is awesome. I'm excited to be playing this. I'm so engaged. It's like, that's like how a kid plays, right? So this is what I'm saying, happiness, not like, oh, whatever, I bought a new shirt, I'm happy. That is pleasure. We have to distinguish between the two. And to do that, we have to become honest. And to become honest, we have to honestly say like, oh, it's cool where I'm at. This is where I'm at. And let me just start with where I'm at and go from there. And there's a little bit of a duality that happens that you have to play with. And the first one is you want to take a non-judgmental approach to your own growth. And then at the same time, so you want to be so loving, so nurturing to your own growth. Like like a mother to a child, right? Like just so nurturing that the child could do no wrong. Now, at the same time, you want to play with this father-like energy that's like, okay, I love you as well. Now, let's talk about how we're going to improve, how we're going to step up. So yes, so mother's loving, father, keep moving forward. I need you to improve and step up. And so what this does is it creates a cool dynamic where you will improve your life, but not from a space of I'm not good enough, I'm not loved, I'm trying to seek somebody else's approval. You're just going to do it. Your own growth will just be an act of self-love. That's it. But self, like, that's it. It'll just be like an act of love, because it'll be like, you'll just be like, oh, okay, I'm not judging myself, but I recognize that actually to grow, to improve, I feel, to progress, I feel good in that process. I'm expanding, I'm growing, I'm connecting. And then in that space, you'll have natural realizations about spiritual concepts.
Hey, I have a question for our audience out there about their walls, about your all's walls. Who has walls, and where do you know where they are? Can you identify where they are? Because this can be a bit of a block too, is even identifying where our blocks are. Because like you said, we get so desensitized. We are so inauthentic with ourselves. We are so less than truthful with ourselves. We haven't spent this time alone cultivating and understanding and knowing who we are.
Yeah. Well, and right away, you'll just be more accepting of yourself. When you're more accepting of yourself, you're more accepting of others, right? You're when you know how to be non-judgmental with yourself, you know how to be non-judgmental with others. See, breaking down the interior breaks down the exterior walls and resistance. And why so many of us are struggling in numerous areas in life is because in some way we are disconnected from a loving energy towards that area. So we're not seeing the good in it. We're not seeing God in it. We're not seeing, however you would like to say this, but ultimately you want to see the all loving source of everything. When you see the all loving source of everything, you see you begin to love everything, because you're looking at the element or possibility of what it is, that person or that animal or whatever it is. And so but love is very vulnerable. That's the challenge, right? So we have to break down these walls, right? And the way to do it is to be vulnerable. Just say, look, we're all human beings. We're all trying to figure it out. 99.99999% of us are just like, we have some things that we need to work on. We don't have to go have a big kumbaya cry about it session. We just acknowledge it. Now, I'm not saying if you need a big kumbaya session, go get that. Right? Like if that's what you need, but I'm saying like, if we take a non-judgmental, like if you need, just take a non-judgmental approach to your own growth. Grow in a non-judgmental environment, and this will allow walls to stay open, because the judgment part is where the walls comes from.
Yes.
Now, but don't be, but see, people are so extreme. They're like, judgment. Oh, there should be no judgment. Why? That's discernment. Of course there should be some, and nature judges, meaning it's called karma. It's called like, if I do something is, there's going to reaction is going to happen. That's the reaction is the judgment.
We judge ourselves so harshly. We're scared shitless to look inside, and because we're judging ourselves on a subconscious level all the time. So sitting down to do the work and consciously look at things just can feel so overwhelming.
It feels icky at first.
Yeah, you put a wall up there. As a couple people said, yeah, I have walls. I know a lot of people bitch about their finances. They have walls in their financial life. They bitch about their I got walls over here. If you find a wall, let me just invite you to pause for a second and say, where am I scared to look at where I'm not being true with myself? Like if I have a wall up here in my finances, there's some area when I look inward where I'm being inauthentic with what I really want and need. And don't be afraid to take an examination of that. You've got to do it in this non-judgmental state, though. It's why the Akashic Records are so powerful, is because they're recorded from a space of non-judgment. They're neutral. And many times we don't have that ability because we are so programmed. We're so affected. We're so hurt. We're carrying so much of the energy. It's just naturally vibrating in our body. It's almost impossible to get a sense of who we are from a non-judgmental standpoint.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're judging in our language at such an unconscious level, right?
Yes.
It comes out in our language, and sometimes we don't even realize it's judgmental because that's just the way we grew up speaking. It's the way everyone around us grew up speaking. It's the way that Hollywood has taught us to speak, and and it plays to certain aspects of our psyche that makes us want to take action. But ultimately, we must learn to be happy, because when you're happy, you know what you don't do? You don't kill, and you don't bomb people, and you don't steal, and you don't have a need to be greedy because you're already fulfilled. All of these acts are acts of non-fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I guess I'm presenting the question is, why aren't we talking about happiness? Why aren't we actually addressing the fact that we are not a happy people? And this is the root of the problem. And then we have to have a method. We have to know what is actual happiness. You have to actually make that first, because if you shoot accurately the wrong way, you're still shooting the wrong way. Right? So you must shoot accurately in the right way. And you said, well, what is the right way? Well, it is the aspect of life that is more permanent. It has a permanency. It's internal. Externally, we can find some happiness. Like, is there happiness in buying a new shirt? Yeah. You know what? I put on my fly swag and I feel happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm like, hey, look, I'm looking good today, you know. But I also am aware enough to go, yeah, but that really doesn't matter, because all it takes for me is to bend over and my belly flap's going to come out. It's going to flop around. It's going to be all awkward looking, not sexy at all. You see, in such a quick moment, my sexiness would change if I just identify with that aspect of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to say, well, what are aspects of us that are permanent? Oh, my consciousness, this is permanent. How I view the world, how I see the world, my ability to love, my ability to connect. This is permanent. This will go with me beyond this life, because when you live enough in that space, you'll recognize that is actually who you are. You're that awareness, you're that consciousness.
Yeah.
And that consciousness is gets you forget you're that consciousness so much because you're in the repetitive patterns of life.
You're in the data.
Yeah, you're just in the matrix, right? Like we all are. So am I.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect at this. That's why that's the honest part, right? I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. And
All
that's
right.
what you got to do too. You got to try. You have to put the effort in.
Tell us the biggest wall you broke down this week, internally and externally. Okay. And then I will too.
Okay. Well, I think what I'm doing right now, like I'm authentically sharing my message, my mission, my personality. I'm trusting that it feels so right for me. It feels good. I'm trusting that Krishna, God, is leading the way, that I'm being guided, and I'm trusting that I will figure it out as I go. And that's what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out as I go. But at the same time, the subject, when I say it, meaning the external pieces, the uncertain pieces. Well, what does this new message mean for my business? What does this new message mean for our finances? What does this new message mean for the way that I carry out my day? What am I attached to? What am I, right? Like, oh, it's because I'm carrying out my day differently now. So I'm seeing old patterns just wanting to take me in a certain way, like a river that always wants to go left. And I'm like having to reprogram, no, go right, sit down, do this instead. This is the work, right? Changing what that looks like. So in so many ways.
Cool. Well, for me, I think that breaking down the walls has to do with knowing your authentic self. And I found some authentic parts of myself this week that I didn't have a conscious awareness of, which is pretty cool. Mike challenged me to create a schedule of my ideal self-care. And it's taken me a freaking month to do it. I haven't done it yet. But my mind's been thinking like because there are lots of pieces arranging, and I'm looking at this from a lot of different perspectives. And what I began to realize was, oh, first of all, I have the opportunity to craft whatever I want to craft. And I recognize that this simple exercise is actually a template into bringing things into my reality. So I began to say, well, Emily, what do you need? What would be the ideal situation for you? And I began to observe my own body rhythms differently. I began to recognize that I have a burst of energy, of inspired energy in the morning that I really like to show up and work at the Akashic Academy. And then as midday comes about, I like to rest. When it's like that high peak sun, I like to get quiet. I like to go into meditation.
You're like a siesta.
I like
you
little
take a 20-minute naps in the afternoon.
I like to. If I don't fall fully asleep, I like to just hold that meditation space.
Yeah, sometimes I take that afternoon nap, sometimes not. Yep. Each day's a bit different for me. But but I definitely, when my body calls for that afternoon nap, I honor that. And if the opportunity's there.
In the evening, I start to get inspired again. I start to get really inspired ideas. I start to feel inspired action. And I'm thinking, shit, I got to get Vivian to gymnastics, and then I got to figure out what we're having for dinner, and I got to do that. And I haven't honored that because I'm in this program, the societal program that says, as a mom, this is how you do it in the evening. This is what we do. And I hadn't taken that space to authentically know myself and what my patterns were, regardless of what package I'm supposed to fit into. Just who am I?
Yeah,
and I found that this week. It broke down an inner wall for me.
That's awesome. It's natural, right? Like getting back to natural living. That's what, the more that we break down our walls, the more we become in harmony with nature, both the material parts of nature, but also the subtle energies of nature, our patterns, like our energetic cycles.
Yes.
The more that we clean up ourselves, then we get back into our rhythm, and our rhythm is naturally abundant and beautiful. And all of these things that we desire, we think that we need to work so hard to attain. It's just not the case. And the reality too isn't, this is sometimes, people don't really like this. At least I didn't like it when I first learned or, realized this myself. And it was that a lot of it's out of your control, right? Mm-hmm. So actually all you can really do is put the effort in and follow your heart, figure things out day by day as they go, make good decisions in the moment, and trust that that's going to lead you to good places, because there's so many unseen factors in your life. Like, look how interdependent we are. Mm-hmm. We're so interdependent. The moon cycles are playing a huge part in our life. Then our cycles around the sun, right? You think about the weather patterns, the interlinkedness between our behaviors and weather and our behaviors, and like there's so much going on. But we're like, oh my God, I've got this, this problem. It's so big, and it's not really like anything, but we're making it huge, right? No, I'm not discriminating, or I'm not putting down the fact that we have real problems. Yeah, we have real problems and challenges. I'm just saying, like, when you realize that how much of it's out of your control, that naturally alleviates the pressure to be whatever you think you're supposed to be. And if you ain't that, and no matter how much you pretend, it won't be it. It won't happen for you. I used to, in my business, I used to be like, how come, like, I'm good at what I do. I'm good at what I do. Well, how come
good at what you do?
Thank you. How come I'm not like, how come I didn't look at this other business coach, for instance? And I'm like, how come, they seem to be blowing up, but I'm given just as good or even greater value than they are. Mm-hmm. What's going on? Well, because actually, like, that door probably will never open up for me in the way that it's opening up so quickly in this door, because this is what I'm aligned to do, right? So we have to get to a place where we have to stop. And it's like we have to let the result go, so that we can just follow that inspired thought, that inspired energy that's moving through everyone. It's moving through everyone right now. It wants you to take action in positive ways that bring more love and joy into your life, and trust that will be nature. Nature will provide for you in a really cool way, in a way where it won't feel it won't feel like how you provide for yourself right now.
Good talk today, buddy. I enjoyed it.
We're way over. I wanted to answer a question too. Dang.
Okay.
All right, we're way over. I'm going to connect
go find the question real fast. Are you you want to answer it, or you want to get off?
Yeah, no. I was just saying I'm gonna connect with the network director and complain.
Oh.
Okay, the question was, is there yoga for people in wheelchairs or disabled, something like this? I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact number. I can remember the word for word, and I can't find it. So I wanted to address that question. The answer is yes. The word yoga, the real practice of yoga, means to link, to create a union with you and God. That is the purpose of yoga. So yoga, from a physical level, if you have some challenges on the physical level, some disabilities or something like this that's stopping you, if I don't know like what the situation is, but use whatever is available. If all you got is your face, you can actually do face yoga and practice smiling, which will make you happier. If you just got up every morning and practice smiling, this would actually just ignite more happiness in your life, right? Your cheeks should be nice and firm here because you're smiling so much that you have like, hey, what's up, right? Like this type of thing, right? So that's something that you can do, and then yoga of the mind, mantra meditation. This is the way to actual yoga. You must get the mind under control. The mind is the key link. If you don't get the mind under control, you can't actually practice real like connection.
The number
so you have
one
to subdue the mind.
Hermetic principle, and these are the principles, ancient principles of self-mastery, is all is mentalism. You got to know all is mind, and you got to know how to get the mind under control.
You have to, the mind has to get under control. This is the problem. This is the challenge. But that's why mantra meditation or the chanting. Yoga process works.
Yeah, lots of
chanting
to whip that mind into shape. I also want to say that Boggy does adaptations of the Tai Chi Qigong sitting. So if you're in a wheelchair, this can definitely still be adapted to you. Now, it's slightly different from flow yoga, which many of you are familiar with, but I invite you to check out this other ancient practice of honoring that marriage of body, mind, and spirit, and how you can begin to move your body, your awareness, your breath to really turn things on and heal things inside of you. So I put the link up again. Join us in membership. It's a $4.44 mental, spiritual, intuitive gym membership. Like I said, I expect to see you all in there this week. That's all I got to say.
Awesome. Hey guys, stick around. We've got Lee Ann coming up next with the show. What's she coming up in 15 minutes?
I think she's at noon. I actually have the network scheduled, Miss CEO here. I have on my desk. Although you are especially the head of the network.
I am, but I created a Google Doc for everyone. That's my style. Yeah. I created a doc for you to look at. Yeah.
And I have it right here. Yeah. Oh, you don't have her on my master schedule yet. Lee's coming up at noon. I'm 99.99% sure.
Awesome. Stick around for her. She's awesome. She's a cool spirit, real cool. Like kind of like a rock star. Like she's got a guy who's got this rock vibe, but real spiritual, which we're down with. All right, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
I like her. Bye.
No, we're still on.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Keep picking your nose. No, we're still on.